Welcome back to Breakfast Television. Questions will likely come up over the holidays when family gets together. And if you have a teenager that is struggling with a mental health issue, having relatives around can be challenging. So here with some practical advice is child psychiatrist Dr. Monique Jericho. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So many families dealing with this right now, right?
Absolutely. Such a common question that I'm hearing in clinic, actually, around this time of year.
Okay, so how common is this mental illness in children?
Yeah. So it is so important to remember that 10 to 20% of Canadian children will be impacted by mental illness somewhere along the way.
Okay.
And also that a full 70% of mental illness begins in childhood or in adolescence.
Okay.
So common.
So common. So many families having these same issues.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. So that's a good place to start. So you put together some do's and don'ts for us, which is really great. So number one is do plan ahead.
Plan ahead. Sometimes people will avoid thinking about this, and all of a sudden, you know, the turkey's on the table and people have questions. This is not the situation you want to be in.
Right, okay.
So plan ahead, talk to, you know, the young person in your life who may be struggling, and get some sort of idea of how much they might want to share.
Right.
And how you're going to go about sharing that.
Okay, right. So thinking ahead so you're not like stuck at the table with this awkward situation.
That's right.
Okay, terrific. So that leads us right into the don't. Don't assume that you can share your child's health information with the family.
This happens very commonly.
I'm sure.
Really well-intended parents will, you know, spread the word about what that young person might be going through. And you know, health information is very, very personal.
Yes.
It's private.
Yes.
And even with a younger child, it's so important that you respect that privacy.
Yes.
And, you know, talk to them. It's their information. And who do they want that shared with, so forth, right? It's really important to respect that.
And I could see how parents would do that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they want to share. They're maybe even looking for their own support and guidance, but they really have to respect that privacy.
You're right, yeah.
Okay, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so do, though, give your family some advice.
Exactly. So if you're going to tell them what, you know, your family's been struggling with or what this young person is dealing with, give them some parameters around that.
Okay.
Right? Like, how can you be helpful now that you know this information? And it may be the case that you're saying, you know what, don't bring it up. We don't need to talk about it. But it may be the case when you're saying, you know, it'd be helpful. Like, why don't you take some time, you know, have a few conversations. Whatever the case may be, give your family direction so they're not sitting wondering and guessing and feeling anxious themselves.
Okay, so just put everybody at ease by giving a little guidance to everyone involved.
Yes.
Okay, terrific. All right, don't expect people to understand right away.
Yeah, people have a lot of personal opinions about mental health issues, and some people may want to share those opinions, may have lots of questions. This is where your own boundaries are very important.
Okay.
And similarly, there might be people who feel really uncomfortable talking about all of this, right? So it's important to not have expectations yourself about how people will respond.
Okay.
It is what it is. You're not going to change people over the course of, you know, a couple days in December.
Right.
But just, you know, maintain some boundaries for yourself.
Okay, that's a good one right there. And do make sure that you carry on all the traditions of the season that are positive.
Yeah, role modeling, right? This problem or whatever it is you're going through, the mental health issue that your family's experiencing, does not have to dominate everything.
Right.
And role modeling the fact that you can still, you know, participate in some of those traditions may be different.
Right.
There may be some modifications.
Yeah.
But it's still possible to have, you know, a great time as a family.
Okay. And then we have to remember that a lot of these illnesses will be cured, or at least we can move through them moving forward.
Yeah, don't lose hope, right?
Yeah.
This is just 1 year, one season,
Yeah.
And people do recover. There's a lot of hope. There's a lot of reason to be optimistic.
Okay. Terrific. Great advice as always. Dr. Jericho, thank you so much and happy holidays.
You too.